The short version is that a lady pulled up yesterday and pooped in our parking lot. That's the short version.
Liz Scotty in the morning.
So we want to share something with you folks, our early morning pre-6 a.m. listeners. You guys are special. You know that. There's things that we talk to you about that we don't talk about the rest of the day. And I'm a little bit torn because we had an incident here at the radio station yesterday that bears talking about, but at the same time, while talking about it, there's no way to talk about this story without it sounding like we're making fun of someone, and I really don't want that to be the case. The short version is that a lady pulled up in our parking lot yesterday and pooped in our parking lot. That's the short version.
Like right by our window.
During business hours.
Yes.
It was just after 8 o'clock in the morning. This is what makes it such an interesting story, and a story that you feel like you almost have to talk about because all of the circumstances surrounding it make it very interesting because there's so many questions about it. The more I thought, even yesterday morning, not as it was going on, but just as the morning kind of progressed, and of course people around the building are talking about, well, where was she? What was she doing? I have come to the conclusion in my mind, and this is why I don't want it to be that we're making fun of it. She was not some crazy woman. She was not homeless. I feel like there had to have been some sort of either medical condition or something that this woman felt like she did not have any other options. She could have come into our building and gone. She was parked right in front of the front door. I have to think that she thought that she did not have time to get to the front door. I don't know. There's so many just different things about it. She pulled into the parking lot. She looked as though she were a little lost. We kind of see the cars pull up. You can kind of see when people are trying to figure out, are they at the right building? There's an MU healthcare thing at the other end of our building. A lot of times people are, am I here? Do I need to go around the building? So that's where it started. This is going to go on for a minute, too, guys, because there's no way to make this a 60-second story.
You can't skip the details on this.
Right. Especially if in the way we're trying to present it, where we're not making fun of her. We're just trying to show how interesting the event was. So she pulled up, and she looked around a little bit. Out-of-state plates. A relatively nice vehicle. Not brand spanking new, but it was as nice as any other vehicle. It was a SUV.
Yeah, newer.
Had racks on the top of the vehicle that to me looked like something that carries kayaks or something. So again, that portrays some level of money. You know what I mean? It was not an old beater that just barely pulling in. So then she pulls in, again, looking a little bit confused. She gets out of the vehicle. We were guessing maybe mid-60s, maybe upper 60s. Mm-hmm. Dressed. She had a dress on. It wasn't fancy or anything, but she, I hate to use these words, but I'm trying to let you know she was not homeless. She had a nice dress on. She walked around to the side of her car, to the passenger side of her car. She opened, and it was a 4-door. She opened both doors to give herself some cover. It's obvious now that's what she was doing. While this was going on, Liz and I started to notice this, and where it began with us was a joke. Yeah, it looks like that lady's out there pooping, but not at all thinking that that's what was about to happen.
Correct.
So she does it between the doors. She kind of sits down, like on the floorboards of the car. So her head kind of disappears a little bit, and we just see the top of it. And the more and more you think, well, wait a minute, maybe she is pooping. And then it was obvious that she was. So she did. Shortly after that, she grabs like a paper towel or something and puts it down on the. At this point, we know it's not a prank. It doesn't look like a prank.
Right.
Again, the woman's mid-60s. It's not some college kid coming up here or somebody who hates one of our radio stations and has a bone to pick with one of the DJs or. And
the way she walked the passenger side of her vehicle, too, it wasn't out of anger. It wasn't out of any kind of malicious intent.
Nope.
It was a casual walk that she made.
And she in no way looked like she was trying to get away with something.
Yeah.
She was not looking around suspiciously. It was not that. So she did that. She covered it with something. Then she gets up, straightens herself up a little bit, goes to the back of her vehicle, opens up the hatch, gets out a bag, comes and cleans it up. Picks it up, cleans it up, puts it in the bag. Apparently, we couldn't see all of this, but put it in the back of her car, closed the doors, started to walk into the building, which this confuses me a little bit. At that point, I'm thinking about it more through the day. It's almost as if she was coming to tell someone, hey, I'm sorry, this just happened. I had no other options. Because I can't figure out why else she would be trying to walk into the building.
Yeah.
I don't know. No idea. But then she gets back into her car, still kind of looking around like she's not sure where she's at. Did I say? And it was out-of-state plates. Did I say that?
Yeah,
okay.
You did.
She backs up. The hatch is still up. And by this time, more and more people have either come into our studio where we have the front row seat of this, or people who had come in from the parking lot that couldn't see what she had just done, but we're trying to, you get a sense there's something weird going on.
Right. Especially because she's starting to back up with the hatch still open,
Yes.
and people are a little alarmed.
Right. At that point, I'm thinking, okay, maybe this is some sort of crazy woman, and she's about to pull out on the highway with her hatch open. We look at, as she's pulling away, we can see there's a lot of stuff in her car that could easily come dumping out, and I'm expecting her to get up here on Limon and all that stuff just start falling out. So we're thinking, what are we going to do? But she didn't. She pulled around kind of the side of the building, and we're guessing we couldn't see that at that point. Somebody said she went down towards the dumpster, which is down there. So maybe she went down. She didn't want to close the thing with the bag back there, went down there. We never saw her again, is the end of the story. But just trying to piece together all of that as it was happening was really strange and different, and I don't know.
And I think from Scotty and I's perspective, just watching it all happen and us going from surely she's not pooping or like making it as a joke
Right.
to trying to come up with different solutions as to what she could possibly be doing.
Right.
And then finally coming to the realization, oh no, we're literally watching a woman poop right now in our parking lot.
Yeah. And again, not trying to get away with anything. To me, it looked like this is another thing that makes me think maybe this woman has a condition. It looked like she had done this before. As calm as she was, walking around, opening up both of those doors, having a napkin or something, and maybe she just had napkins in her car. People have that, but the way that she went about cleaning it up and getting rid of it and leaving, it did not. It just looked like that was not the first time that she had done that, which again took me to. God, the poor woman, maybe she can't help it. Maybe she, she has some issue where she can't hold it in,
Yeah.
Which is why our first reaction is it's funny. I mean, it's funny. I'm sorry. It's funny. If you suffer from this condition, I understand this is not funny to you. You have to understand to the rest of us watching this, why this is so weird and why we feel the need to talk about it. It's a, air quotes, good story, just in the fact of all of these things going on and trying to figure it out.
Yeah. And I think it's funny for a couple of reasons. One, it being so jarring.
Yes.
For you and I. Secondly, I think, and again, she felt maybe like she didn't have any other options. However, we have a side parking lot that just has so many different spaces. So our question all day long was, why park right in front of the building at 8:02, 8:03 in the morning when so many people are coming and going?
Yeah, the other parking lot over there is wide open.
Yes.
I mean, there's cars in it, but it's not right in front of the building.
Yes.
Which I thought maybe she pulled up to the front thinking she could make it to the inside and then thought she couldn't, she was not going to make it. Or that we wouldn't let her, use it, which we absolutely would if we were talking, our lady up front was like, she couldn't see what was going on from her vantage point. But she was, it's the nicest lady in the world. This is the lady who retired a few weeks ago, and she's come back to help us out because we're a little short-handed. She absolutely would have let the woman in to use the restroom. It
was just a little jarring.
It was weird and different, and I don't know that we will speak of it again. we're not making fun of the poor woman. We really are not. But the situation almost requires being talked about. You know what I mean? It's it's a story that you feel like you got to tell it because it was so bizarre and odd and weird, and we still have questions and all of that.
Yeah, the way it unfolded and just like, honestly, too, Scotty and I, we didn't talk about it at that point. I don't think we're gossipers when it comes to the rest of the building.
No.
And the way that it spread like wildfire.
As you can imagine, it would.
Yes.
Someone defecating right in front of your front door.
Exactly.
Yeah, people are going to talk about that.
And Scotty and I are literally in the eye of the storm on that end. So that whole aspect was funny too, just from Scotty and I's perspective and vantage point again. So it was a situation that I doubt we will ever be in it again, but it was something.
It was something. It was something.